an afro?
Afro, no.
Okay, it's another show from South Africa. Thousands of white South Africans, mainly Afrikaners, are seeking U.S. asylum, citing high crime and discrimination. What does this exodus reveal about the post-apartheid vision of inclusivity? To unpack this and more, with me is Mustafa Jinodu and Alex. You guys are welcome to the show.
Okay, so I'll ask you, welcome. What does it say about inclusivity in South Africa? The fact that America is giving white South Africans, they're giving them visas or immigrant status because of supposed genocide. But what does it say about? Here's the question: what do you think it says about inclusivity in South Africa? If it has anything to do with inside of South Africa, as far as I'm concerned, what do you think?
Yeah, basically, I feel what they always wanted to do post-apartheid was to unify and basically, unite the Afrikaners as well as the blacks. But with
Rainbow Nation.
Yeah, the Rainbow Nation, that's the vision. But with this kind of arrangement now, and with Afrikaners seeking asylum, an open door policy, more like by Donald Trump, it appears that vision is being destroyed and is going nowhere anytime soon. Basically, that's just.
I don't think it has anything to do with the vision because South Africa says it's a Rainbow Nation. Now, if the U.S. says that white South Africans can come there, to me, that speaks more about the U.S. than it does about South Africa. It's just like, for example, what if Ghana said, hey, Black Americans can come to Ghana? That's what Ghana is saying. And then Black Americans can choose to either stay in the U.S. or go to Ghana. But to me, them leaving, it doesn't say anything about the inclusivity. Now, you can say that maybe blacks are leaving because they don't feel that the country is good. But to me, if I were, maybe I'll ask Alex, if you're a Black South African, are you angry that Trump is allowing whites? You should be happy. Get them out, right? What do you think, Alex? Don't you want them to leave, right? Don't you want them to? Don't Black people want the whites to leave South Africa, right? Go ahead. What do you say, Alex? Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Hey, I don't know if I want them to leave. I don't want all of them to leave because some hold that balance in the country. Because if it's only like Black South Africans running the country, I'm not sure if we're gonna survive. We might end up being like Zimbabwe or something.
Why not? And that's the bigger question. Why not? Why do they need white people to survive? That's a bigger question. It's because of the history of apartheid. But that's a bad sign if you need to have a racial group to survive. You get what I'm saying? That brings bigger questions. I'm not judging, but it brings bigger questions then. That if you need the whites to stay, what is that saying? Is it saying that the blacks right now are not skilled enough to run the country? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. I might disagree.
Yes, definitely. I feel like I definitely think that the Black people is ready to run the country by themselves.
And also
they're not. I'm just
whether or not they are or not. If you lose any sector of your population, it hurts the country. Even if Black people are ready, if you're losing white people, you're losing a lot of able-bodied people who can contribute to the country. Same thing in America. Blacks aren't contributing a lot because all those Black boys are going to jail. It's actually hurting the whole country. It's hurting the whole country, not just Black people, because you have a whole sector of your population which is not effective, and it hurts the whole country. What do you think, Falabi?
Yeah, I quite agree with you because a lot of these guys are not helping anybody really, and they have this kind of siege or victim, the victim kind of mentality. All of them.
The Blacks or white?
No, the whites. All of them against us kind of mentality, and some of the kind of arguments they are making as excuse for taking up this asylum offer. Some of them don't hold water. They are talking about farm attacks, home invasions, murder and general violence. Some of the criminal activities that they're complaining about are not targeted at race. Some of those criminal gangs are targeting expensive items, money, and valuables. It's poverty, exactly. It's poverty-induced attacks. So some of the siege mentality and the victim kind of rhetoric that the Afrikaners are, the card they're playing, it doesn't really hold water. They're just looking for an excuse.
Yeah, I won't lie. Some of them are being targeted. Some of them are being targeted because they're white and because of money. So maybe if I was a Black person, they'll take the land, but they'll be.
Perhaps.
But the thing is that For them to claim it's a genocide,
Yeah.
I don't think they know the meaning of genocide. It's an exaggeration.
Yes,
It's a
it's an
big
exaggeration.
exaggeration. Especially in South Africa, if you're white, that's the safest thing to be in South Africa. If you look at the crime statistics, it affects mostly female blacks and male blacks. Those are the main people who are
Yeah.
subject to violence. So they're exaggerating. It's not a genocide. Yeah, there's problems. There's economic and social problems, and there's problems of blacks attacking whites because they're angry, but there's also problems of black attacking blacks. There's xenophobia. So there's a ton of problems. And all of this boils down to the economic situation of the country. If the government does the right thing and uses resources to make sure everybody's fed, to make sure everybody has good jobs, training, school, protection, you'll see less crime on white farms because people have money and they won't be motivated. When you have money, you're not motivated to do violence because you don't want to lose your freedom. You know, if I have money, no matter how much I hate white people, I'm not going to go out on a farm and shoot a white guy because I have too much to lose. You understand what I'm saying? What do you think, Alex? You know?
I feel like, okay, I'm not going to deny that there's crime in South Africa, or that people
There's crime,
of all races, yeah, or that people of all races face real safety concerns, right? But I feel like let's stop pretending that this is some targeted genocide against white Afrikaners.
Nah.
It's not 1994, and it's definitely not 1948. Like, these are economically privileged communities. They still own like large amounts of land, wealth, and resources. So for them to say they're persecuted, that's just a stretch. Like,
Yeah, and they have Orania. They have the Western Cape. They control the Western Cape, Northern Cape. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, most white people in South Africa are still moneyed. You know, like 80% of them still have the money. So I really don't get why they're complaining.
Yeah, and 8% of South Africans are unemployed. Of white South Africans, 8%. For blacks, is almost 40%. And the whites are claiming that they don't get jobs and stuff. The employment numbers
Yeah.
show that the whites have 3 times less unemployment. So yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, Trump giving asylum to immigrants from South Africa is bullshit. But doesn't make me angry because we all know white people look out for themselves all over the world. So let them look out for themselves. Like you said, if a white person leaves and goes to the U.S.,
Yeah.
it doesn't make it worse or better. It doesn't make it worse or better for Black South Africans. I don't think they would. They did a study. Even Black South Africans, they don't want to go to the U.S. They want their country, so they don't want to leave anyway. But if a Black South African wants to go to the U.S., they won't get the visa. But hey, that's life. I keep telling people you can't expect Black people to help white people to help Blacks. We can't get mad at America. They don't want to give Black people visas. Black people have to fight within the continent of Africa to liberate it so that they don't need to travel outside of their country. What are your thoughts, Afolabi?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, I agree with you. And this the employment statistics kind of favors the whites. And I feel if some
Yeah.
of these people leave, it gives the black unemployed statistics an opportunity to go up. That's just what I feel.
Yeah, but the problem is
Yeah.
it won't go up. And this is why I always laugh when people talk about foreigners coming. If the whites leave, you'll just see Black people from other countries, Kenya, Nigeria, coming in because there's a skill training problem in South Africa.
Yes, there's a
And
skill
with
gap.
the ANC,
the
but it's the problem of the government. They're not spending on money for schools. Like if you go to those schools, a lot of schools in South Africa where there's Black or color kids, man, that shit is dangerous. Even the teachers have to watch out. So I'm not judging the kids, but it's in poor neighborhoods, just like in America. Black people learning is not there. There's no money there. Sometimes there's no toilets in the schools and stuff. So my thing is that once again, it's a problem of economics. The public education for Blacks in South Africa is really bad. If you want to get it, you got to go to a white school. Like I know, I used to live in Joburg. I knew people who lived in North Riding. They were Black people, but they went to schools which were 50-50 white, Black, and the schools are really good and the guys were doing well. But if you go to some areas, if you go to Deep Sloot or somewhere, which is way out there, Deep Sloot is, for if you don't know what far, people live in tin shacks. In those areas, you're not going to find any good schools. What are your thoughts, Alex? Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You know, I also did go to a public school, and it was really bad. You know, it's really hard to focus in school when like the teachers are not that involved. Even the teachers are involved in corruption when it comes to the feeding scheme foods. They would still like the food that was supposed to be for the learners. So that was really
Can you
messed up. The toilets are those ones, what are they called? Long drops. So it was really difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, so imagine like there's no child who will want to go to school and actually learn something. So in
Nah.
terms of the skill set, we need to as a country
Yeah, and this is
because
a big
our
problem.
kids are,
It's a big issue, and that's what the EFF is trying to address, getting nice South African resources to deal with those things. Yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna say? I think there's a delay on all the connections. Yeah.
yes. No, I just wanted to say that the kids of this generation are not going to have good education. I mean, not only is it getting worse now, the safety concerns as well, the whole rapes that has been happening, it's actually been a wave now. So
And bullying,
I'm
bullying.
really scared.
Yeah. To be honest with you,
Also the bullying, yeah, it's really
I would just stay at home and teach my kid at home and make less money or something. But the problem is that people have to go to work. Then you have to send your kids out. You're better off doing homeschooling. To be honest with you, this is crazy, man. It's really bad. What do you think, Afolabi? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the ANC or whatever it is, the government of national unity, they need to do something fast about this because if the white guys go, they're going to have to find a way to develop the skill set of the black guys and possibly improve public education because there's going to be a brain drain. And like you rightly mentioned, Mustafa, a lot of the positions are going to be filled with educated Nigerians, Zambians, Kenyans, and these are positions that are supposed to be filled by black South Africans. So they have to think of something very quickly. But the ANC themselves, they are corrupt. These kind of things are not even their priority for now. It's just how to steal money and stuff.
Yeah. But even if the white South Africans don't leave, it's still the problem that the educational system that blacks and colored people are getting is not efficient. So it's a separate problem. But
it's inferior to the white guys.
That live in South Africa, they go to white schools. So then, as they get better and they work in the service sector, as they work, it's still not helping black people. So to me, whether they leave or stay, it'll probably make it a little bit worse if they leave. But there's still the problem of even when they're staying, they're only working for their own communities in upper class white neighborhoods. So there needs to be a total. If South Africa is going to be a rainbow country, then that means the government needs to spend billions of rand on education and safety so that everybody has equal access to education, to safety, and everything else. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like South Africa urgently needs to invest in developing the skills of Black South Africans. Public education, vocational training, and mentorship must become national priorities. We can't afford to let historical inequality carry into the next generation of the workforce. If we don't prepare our own people to take over key sectors, someone else will, and resentment will fall.
Oh yeah, that's xenophobia. Or you'll wake up one day and it'll be like a country like Brazil in which there's more people from other cultures and countries than there are that are indigenous. Seriously, that's what will happen, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and also Canada.
Yeah, Canada is becoming like that too. Yeah, Portugal. So we don't want that to happen because we want South Africa. Same thing. We want Nigerians to be able to stay. Nigerians are moving to Canada, moving to Germany, moving to China. There's Nigerians everywhere because the country's so effed up. It's so effed up. But Black South Africans don't have the option of traveling out because Nigeria has a history of traveling out, but Black South Africans haven't built up that adventurous traveling, and it seems like with the racism, they won't even
actually don't. It's really crazy.
Yeah. So they don't have that adventurism to go to other. Like me, I'm tired here. I already want to move to. I want to move to Russia for 3 years, and I'm living in the U.S. and I'm tired of it. I want to live in. I lived in South Africa for 7 years. I lived in other. So now I'm ready to go to Europe, man. Fuck this place, man. So the idea is that it's good to travel and see different cultures and everything. It opens up your mind, so you can see what's going on in the world, But it's not fair what's going on, and then the U.S. is going to offer white South Africans an escape, but they don't do that for any other group of people in the world. They're not doing it for Palestinians who are getting killed by Israel. All right, so that's about it. We'll go around the block one more time before we leave. Any last thoughts, Alex?
My last thoughts is if white people are going to leave, then the government should really sit down and evaluate the consequences of these white people leaving.
Yeah.
And they should really, you know what? Honestly, Mustafa, like I have no hope in South Africa's government. I won't even say that I hope they sit down and actually invest in education for us.
Not just South Africa.
They won't.
Not just South Africa.
they will chow that money. So I just hope that we ourselves can take that initiative to educate ourselves and develop those skill sets ourselves without the government.
Local communities have to take their own education into their own hands. Same thing with me. If I want to learn something, I do it myself. Like now we do these shows, we do the research ourselves. You got to do it yourself. Nobody else will do it for you, man. Yeah. All right. Any thoughts, Afolabi?
Yeah.
I just think that the government, the South African government, should prioritize funding to some of these public schools so that the South African blacks can develop their skill set and they can be competitive in the employment market, really, so that the disparity in terms of skill set and employability can close, the gap can close, really, because more or less.
But you know what you have to do? Sorry, before you do that, even if you don't have safety at home, you're not going to do well in school. That's why it's so complex.
It's just the crime rate. There's so much crime, and I think it's the poverty.
If there's crime at home, if people are selling drugs, so then how are you going to do homework? And then when you go to school, you'll be sleeping because you're stressed out. There's a lot of crazy shit. Yeah, but sorry, Afolabi. Let's talk. Go ahead.
Sure, but yeah, you're absolutely right. The crime rate, the poverty level, the drugs and stuff. They must find a way of
nutrition
for this thing. Yes, I think is an offshoot of the apartheid mentality. There's this psyche. The average black South African psyche of I'm being dominated, I need to fight back, I don't have anything to defend myself, I don't have the empowerment of knowledge and education. So there has to be a radical change in psychology and mentality of the average black South African for this to change, basically.
Yeah, and also the economic. That's what, but people need to listen to EFF because those guys are making some good examples.
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely.
All right, so take us out, Afolabi.
Okay, it's been another wonderful show. We've been discussing the offer of asylum to the white Afrikaners in South Africa by Donald Trump, and we've been able to unpack a number of things. And from Alex and Mustafa, we'll see you guys next time.
All right, guys, nice one. Okay.